Oh, we're missing one over in team 2. They could have used KSM then, the Shadow Priest. But looks like Chill Pills is gonna have to hold the fort here together with Corey and Linthania. We got a little bit delayed swapping to these boys and Boomthrax. But you guys are gonna have to hold the fort. Gonna be faded, opening up on Kid Shot on the Chill Pills immediately. Death mark off the bat. Chills better have a response here. IBF immediately got himself the swarm joining in. The pet kind of moving over to the side. Definitely's gonna have to go for the full army of the Undeads to deal with Faded. Faded could vanish this out, but I think you gotta pressure me the way they're gonna be the Gargoyle join in. But no army of the dead? Wait, are you playing Apocalypse? Are you playing the Dot build? Are you playing the full disease build? Death and Decay down? He may be playing the disease build actually. I thought he may be playing the Shadow Death Knight build. That could be kind of cool. Faded does have some dots on him, setting out the goal to make sure that the Faded does not get himself a proper recovery behind the pillar. Did survive the Rogue's Death Mark together with Exsanguinate. So, at least Chill Pills is kind of healthy. Does have a human ritual for the next stun. As long as he's able to deal with the rogue afterwards, he may be okay. And as long as you keep your dot damage on the rogue, you may be alright as well. Faded try to see if he can just walk away from that goal. Goal is on the chase, on the prowl, and more or less knows where the rogue is at. That is going to be the A-bomb dropping on one side. I think maybe dotted the rogue up is definitely getting those autos in there. And diseases should be coursing through the veins of Faded. Does have the main pet over there empowered. Stun to Faded. Is it going to be enough here? Does get the... So you do... Don't play army. You do play the Shadow build, and Faded does go down. Wait, you did play army. Never mind, I thought you were playing like an army build, or a Shadow build, but apparently you're not. Haster is going to be up next as Sharp is charging out, trying to see if it cleanse with Chill Pills out of this arena. Just trying to see if it can just purge Chill Pills literally, or rather claim him with a void. It is a Shadow Priest, by all accounts. Delving into a little bit of that voidy darkness goodness. Chill Pills does have a Mindbender on him. At least against the caster class, he is able to deal with that thing fairly easily. Chill Pills with the Wraith Walk, hoping to close the gap. Stun into Haze, but does kind of veer around the pillar. I think expecting for Haze to trinket out of this one. Does have AMS to counter anything Haze has to throw at him. The Army of the Dead is joining in. Does get a root onto at least one of the pets. Stunned up by the main pet with a Shadow Crush around the corner. Does get all these pets dotted up though. So for Haster, if he goes in for like Vampiric Embrace, maybe they can give him a lot of healing. Oh, mad damage Chill Pills though. I don't know if that was an execute go or what, but does end up kind of collapsing a bunch of damage on him. Ultra Ego does end up getting himself around the band just to get a proper stun onto the Death Knight. Does not go for the big bleeds just yet. That is going to be a A-bomb kind of keeping him a little bit of company. It's going to go for the root and the A-bomb. Chill Pills does activate himself a little bit of resources. Definitely he's going to have to play very defensive against the bleeds of a Feral Druid. Thorns is up. The Feral does end up tricking out of it. The Army of the Dead joins in. That's going to be AMS available for Chill Pills. Got himself lots of runic power. We're fighting through the Thorns, but he's just trying to stay on top of Wiltshire as best as he can. Root onto the main pet. Chill Pills trying to see if he can fight through it. Does have a death pet in case things ever go rough. That's going to be an Execute onto Ultra Ego. If he can keep himself low with an Execute, he may just have him. Does he do it right here? Ultra trying to see if he can recover. Yet another Execute brocking on him. Chill Pills got himself a little bit of health to work with a Dark Bag, but can't really heal through it. Ultra surrounded by the Army of the Dead. The dot fall apart. Gonna be a big old bite onto Chills. Chills barely alive here. The Gargoyle joins in. Does drop in yet another Execute on him. If you could only get one more stone or something, blind, anything. Does have AMS ahead of time. Gonna be a Bastard Chill. Does he have an out? Maybe an Execute onto the Feral Druid. Stun. Maybe you could put up an Execute. Just needs to heal long enough. Army of the Dead. Oh, he does end up recovering it. My goodness. Oh, is Chicago gonna give him an honor duel? No, I don't think so. Or maybe he's trying to. No, he is. Chicago just rolls in on a bike. Cool. Look at all the cool on their bike. He's just like, all right, kid, get yourself some recovery. Do it. Chilpa's just trying to go for Shade. Dude, can't just like Boomthrax or somebody just walk over and give Chilpa's cut for regrowth? Wouldn't that work as well? Actually, it looks like Chilpa's recovered. Looks like Chicago's like, all right, good enough. I don't want to give you full recovery, just enough to give you a fighting chance. AMS up for Chill Pills is going to have to rotate defensives basically as they come off of cooldown. IBF coming back up very, very soon. AMS burnt through very quickly. Stun is able to break out of it with the human racial. Stun to fall and continue to heal as much as it can while the dampening holds. It was Chicago slamming him down. Did want to give Chill Pills a bit of a fighting chance, but not really let him just dominate the arena. Corey got himself a spear down, but doesn't quite catch Chicago with it. Full avatar, full everything. Was used strongbow to fall. Does himself with a big go. I don't know if he got himself like a bleed build, sustain build, or like a one-shot build he's talking about. Wall up for Chicago. Got himself a bit of Maelstrom. Gonna be the reflect down for Corey. Chicago has to play it super, super defensive for a little bit here. Got himself to ignore pain, so at least offsetting a portion of the damage back into the shield that he's got going on. There's going to be a Storm Totem onto Corey, just waiting it out. Second Stun Totem, but he's going to be able to walk away from it. Ruin Chicago in place. Spear, big damage. I think that's why he's trying to go for the big all-in go. Chicago tried to heal through it. Big defenses. Doesn't well for this one. Corey tried to see if he could blast right through Chicago. Yet another Blaze Storm back up. Is he playing the Blaze Storm with the unhinged where Blaze Storm Mortal Strikes just end up going into like a target? I think it may be going into his Earth Elemental. I think the Earth Elemental may have took a couple of those unhinged Mortal Strikes. But Corey tried to see if he can get out of there. As long as he got about Chicago just a little longer, Flame Shock not gonna let you recover. I don't know if this Warrior's got much left really, but he may just have to throw everything else left at Chicago and just try to do his very, very best. The fact that the Arms Warrior is surviving this long, by the way, is nutty, but a big ascend random proc for Chicago does end up just absolutely piercing right through the Warrior. Gonna be full Berserk, everything available for Boom. Maxing out damage, gonna be full maim, convoke the spirits, but looks like actually it's gonna be Chicago just walking away from the convoke while the root is up with the Boom. Boom did not want to power shift out of the count from just to maximize that convoke, but it was just end up being a bunch of rats getting spammed out of VAR instead. As we're recovering a little bit of health, Boom get hit with the Thunder for just a moment. Does get hit with the LD Blast. Chicago using the Maelstrom offensively rather than defensively. Ghost Raptor's a backup. Wall is up for Boom. This is where I think Chicago may just want to use the Maelstrom just to heal up, waiting until the defenses are down for the Feral Druid before they go in for the big LA Blast, Lightning Bolts, maybe. I was gonna say Lava Burst, but Lava Burst can replace LA Blast right now. Boom, at not a lot of health. Does he have any recovery whatsoever? Kind of down defenses. Maybe can get a main set up on the Chicago and maybe just go behind the pillar, just start recovering with regrowths and rejuves. But Chicago just doesn't even give him a chance. Just walks around, sunders him, taking him out. Woodland Thenia. Last one left over on team 2. Can Chicago? I one shot his pet instead of him. That is unfortunate, man. Thenia getting surrounded by the Feral Spirit. Chicago looking for a bit of recovery. Does drop down a Sun Totem right next to him. Lithenia is going to get hit. It is going to be a Thunder. Big LA Blast onto Lithenia. Does go for the Kidda shot, but the Sun Totem is going to separate him a little bit for a second. It's going to stump him for a moment. Cloaker Shot is for the Rogue, as they are trying to get himself a bit of damage for Chicago. No more dance. Try to continue the pressure while they got good cooldown. Chicago is going to have to call on the Ancient Spirits, Guardian Spirits, in order to give himself a little bit of recovery, as he's getting a lot of healing from those things actually. Wall to follow as well. Maybe we'll turn around to Lithenia. One LA Blast would do it. Just drinking it, but the blind is going to separate the two. Chicago with a Battle Mass drinking at no health. My God. Lithenia the Rogue goes in as the Shaman is at no health whatsoever. Just a quick ambush, taking him down while he's low. My goodness. But it looks like it's going to be VAR going in for a trinket really early on, actually. Didn't really want to commit for a full stun. There's quite a lot of hammers flying onto the Rogue, though. Does go in for the Shadow Dance, gives him a little bit of healing, but a 61% dampening. What can you really do in that situation? Does have some evasion, but I don't really know if that's really going to do much for you. Does establish yet another Kidda shot onto VAR. It's looking to get away, but I think the Exorcism may have you. You just died to Exo? It is hurting you. I think you're recovering barely enough health just to live through Exorcism. Barely recovering, but just enough to keep yourself alive. But Lithenia looks like he's able to avoid it. Needs to give himself a reset versus VAR. Blind. Kidda shot. He could just bubble it. Does Lithenia have a vanish? I think it's over. Yeah, maybe grapple? Maybe? Oh, it's over. Try to do your best, man. Try to do his very, very best, but I guess the Paladin ain't gonna happen. Chills does end up coming out on top with that one, chat. Well done, well done. I feel like Chills survived way longer than he should have. Surviving 3 in a row with all his bleed classes.